Congratulations, you've just been promoted to manager, but somehow your team seems as distant as ever at a time when you need to connect with them most. Hi, I'm Dan Gugliotti. I am a leadership coach. I help new managers become expert leaders and get the most out of their new teams. So you've been promoted to manager, and somehow your team feels less connected, more distant than ever. Why is that? What's happening? Well, generally, what's happening is you used to be one of them, and now you're one of the others. You do have the unique perspective of having both perspectives. So use it. Essentially, when you were part of the staff, you were one of your peers. You were able to relate to them and their struggles and their challenges, and frankly, some of the things that they may not have liked about the leadership team. But now you are one of the leadership team and you now have to take on a different persona. And that means a different work style. That means you may even have a different personality at work. That's just how that works. Look, if you're in the unfortunate position to be managing a former peer or the dreaded managing one of your former friends, there is a delicate balance here that no one tells you about. And that is your relationship is going to change, and you have to find a way to balance that and set real expectations. It always sounds really good to be able to report to one of your friends or have one of your friends be a direct report of yours. Things seem like they're going to be easier. I already know that person. I know how they work, and they know how I work. They know what I expect, and I know what they expect. Until you start giving direction, that gets tested really quickly. So the thing I want you to really understand is that very, very first conversation with all of your team, especially the folks who are your friends, set those expectations early. And that's not just going into a meeting and winging it. That is sitting down and getting to know yourself first. That very first meeting should be with yourself. That is, who am I as a leader? Who am I as a manager? How do I manage tasks? How do I want things done? What is my style? You may not know what that means yet, and that's okay. Generally speaking, what's your personality? Once you know your personality, you are able to fit that to your leadership style. If that doesn't make sense yet, that's okay. All you have to do is keep following this channel. We'll go through all of it. If you're sitting down for the first time with your team and you're really not sure what to say or how to work it or what they're going to say to you, I have a freebie PDF down below in the comments. Click on that, and that should get you through your first couple of one-on-ones. Now, back to the meeting with yourself. Understanding what your style is, understanding how you're going to communicate to your new team is essential. So the next meeting you're going to have is, of course, the one-on-ones with your team, maybe even your former peers or friends. And that meeting really should just be about, this is who I am and this is what you can expect from me. Number one, I expect you to do really good work. That is a prerequisite. Number two, if you do really good work, I really want to support you and help you get to where you want to go. I want you to grow. I want you to have grown to where you want to go, and I want to be the person to help you get there. And number three, I want us to communicate so well that it feels like over communication. I want us to be able to want to talk to each other. I want us to be able to want to come to work and talk about that project, give each other feedback. And by the way, if I'm giving you feedback, I want feedback from you as well. That's a two-way street. Building trust in this scenario is crucial. There is arguably nothing bigger than building trust in your first couple of weeks as a brand new manager. Now, I've only been talking for a couple of minutes, and it feels like I've given a lot of information, and I have. But the fact of the matter is, you need to slow your process down. So let's take it back to the beginning for a second. You've been promoted. Now what? Step one, have a meeting with yourself. Who am I? What am I trying to accomplish? What do I want my team to accomplish? Step two, talk to your team and be very simple, very direct, and very clear about who you are, what you expect, and frankly, what they expect out of you. And number three, do everything you can to build trust. And that really means be authentic. You're not going into the first meeting and trying to be maybe the former manager who was there, the former leader that was there. Maybe they were a rock star. Maybe they didn't have a great reputation. Either way, you are not them. Don't try to be them. You are you. Be you. That brings me to my next point. Understanding how people work is really, really difficult. And what I mean by that is you're not always going to have a blanket approach to leadership with person A as you would with person B. There's a really great way that I approach things, and it comes from a baseball term, and that is coaching someone who plays baseball. There's three different types of baseball players. Number one, when someone's slumping, they either want to be left alone, they need a pat on the back, or they need you to get in their face. You need to understand which of those players are on your team. You're not always going to have the same kind of player. Not everybody wants you in their face, just like no one wants to be left alone all the time. You need to understand who the players are on my team that need me to get in their face. Who are the people on my team that just simply need a pat on the back that day? And who are the people on my team that just need to be left alone? They'll figure it out. That comes with building relationships. That comes with those first few meetings. But those meetings and those conversations don't happen if you're not vulnerable and you don't go into those meetings and say, this is who I am. This is what I'm expecting. Does that work? It's possible they say, no, that doesn't work. That's not how I work. That's not what I was expecting out of this. And that's okay. That doesn't mean that they get to change the situation. That means you, as their leader, have to work with them. You have to be able to compromise. You have to be able to be flexible. If you're not, and if you're rigid and you want things done your way or no other way, you're going to have a really hard time with that individual. So let's just break this down one last time. Your team is feeling distant. You've been promoted from within. You were once a peer or a friend of the team that you are managing. That sounds scary. I've been there. My very first manager gig, I couldn't have been more excited to manage friends. I thought it would be a breeze. I could not have been more wrong. I went from being on top of the world on day one to asking myself, what the heck did I just get into on day two? I was demoralized. I was discouraged. I never wanted to go back to that job ever again by the weekend. But it wasn't until I had that conversation with myself and I said, where did I go wrong here? I think I made some assumptions, and I think I made the wrong assumptions about what this was all about. You see, that person, the person that was my friend that I was now managing, they were expecting more out of me, their friend, than they would have anybody else, because I was expected to know them better than anybody else. And because I went into my very first meeting with them, all business, and not really giving them many expectations, that was very alarming to them. So don't make that mistake. Be upfront, be clear, be concise. Don't give too much information in the first meeting. I have a master's degree in leadership and a former college professor, but none of those things matter if I don't know how to put what I'm saying into practice. And I can tell you, I do. I have the experience. I have the accolades. I've held positions that required me to put these actions into practice. I've been a senior leader at multiple Fortune 100 companies. I've coached executives at all levels. And now I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you get maximum value out of your team, build imaginable trust that is almost unconditional. And part of that is coming on this journey with me. Soon, I'll be releasing a course, a transformative course that takes new managers just like you to expert leaders and the most confident version of yourself to get your teams to be the most productive, powerhouse teams you could ever imagine. But it's built on experience and all of my research, all of my learnings from master's degrees to actual application. I have a link below to the waitlist for this transformative course. And as soon as seats become available, if you sign up for the waitlist, you'll be the first to know. Along with the waitlist, I have a free PDF on how to run your one-on-ones, how to give impactful feedback. And if this information is helpful for you, of course, like and follow. And if you comment course below, I'll make myself available for up to 3 free consultations in the next couple of weeks. Thanks for watching. See you next time.